Hello, this is Adrienne Gaylor at the Cleveland Stater podcast. I'm sitting here with Mike Comadecca and our guest, Anna Brandt, who's a freshman on the cross-country team as well as the track and field team. Welcome, Anna.
Thank you for having me.
How you doing today, Anna?
Good.
Excellent. As I noticed, I was looking through the last meet, the Tiffin Dragon Open. I noticed that there were some familiar names in like the 4x4 relay. You, Karen, that won that, and then I noticed that you came in second in the 800 meter, and you came in first in the 4,000 meter. What's like the biggest difference between running cross country to track and field?
I would say the training is different as well as the terrain. So I never ran indoor in high school because we didn't have it. So for me, this transition has been a little difficult, but it's been a lot of fun as well. Because running on a 200 meter track versus not having to worry about figuring out what the route is for cross country or running on grass and trying to dodge some of the holes or routes that are on the course. It's nice. It's very different, but keeps things interesting and makes you continue to enjoy it.
Like Mike said, he recognized a couple familiar names. So how many girls are on the cross-country team that also compete in the track and field team?
There are 8 of us.
Yeah, it looks like you guys have a pretty young team, actually. You do have a few seniors, I see, as well. So what is that like when you're an underclassman coming in? This is your first time, of course, being on the track and field team. Do you have, like, mentors on the team that help you get prepared for these kind of events? Like you said, this is brand new for you running on an actual indoor track now.
I definitely do look up to a couple of the upperclassmen who sort of have their ropes and already know how the coaches want things to be done. Definitely, I also will talk to the coaches and whatnot if they aren't in a particular event that I'm competing in. Usually, we'll talk to them anyway to make sure that when do you want us to warm up, what do you want us to do, and all of that. But I definitely do look up to the upperclassmen a lot.
To kind of play along the lines with that was one of my questions was it easier coming into track and field knowing that you had relationships with a lot of the women from the fall semester?
I would definitely say yes. Already having the tight group from cross country, just transitioning into track, it's nice. You already know how people race, how people do workouts, and it's been nice though to try to get to know more of the track people as well, just because we never really saw them that much during the fall, but it's nice that we're trying to really become a big group now.
I'm assuming that there's some people who probably only do one or the other and don't do both sides. So how is it then when you go back? I mean, it's going to be your first year then going back to cross country after this. Do you already know how many of the girls are going to move over to the other side again?
It'll probably be the same. It'll be 6 of us since 2 of us are graduating.
Yeah.
Just because most of the track people don't do cross country.
Okay.
If they're just sprinters or
Gotcha.
We'll see what incoming freshmen we have too though. So, and hopefully maybe next year we'll be able to have a larger group of us continuing into track now that track sort of has become, it's been building and we've been having the program for a little bit longer than the past couple of years.
Gotcha.
Is there like an indoor part of the track and field season and an outdoor part? And is there championships for each part?
Yes, there is. Yeah, I believe indoor ends around the end of February, and then outdoor will end hopefully end of April, early May, sorry.
It looks like the championships, the outdoors, are scheduled for like that first weekend in May 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So is there a different approach that you take from the indoor and outdoor? I know you kind of touched on that earlier, but is there like a different approach? Because indoor, obviously, like you were saying, you know your distances and know where you got to go. And outdoor, is that just like an outdoor track? Right?
Yeah, outdoor is just an outdoor track. And so most of those tracks are going to be 400 meters. The indoor tracks can vary a little bit on what the facility has and where you're going, the distances. So for outdoor, since I've only been really exposed to outdoor in high school, I know like each lap is a 400. So for me, it's mentally easier because I haven't gotten quite used to the 200, 300 tracks yet, just because I've only competed in 2 meets. But it's a nice change, I would say, but it's different.
It's different.
Yeah.
Did you already have any hurdling events this season yet?
Not yet. We're starting a little bit. We're hoping to put me in a couple eventually, but not yet.
Did you do that in high school?
I did.
Okay.
Yes. Because I swam in high school as well as running. So that's what I did during the winter instead, because we didn't have an indoor track. I wasn't able to build up the mileage to really be focusing on distance events in track. And in middle school, when I had started hurdling, and I decided to continue with that in high school once we were trying to figure out where people fell on the team, and we definitely needed more hurdlers. And so I said, I'll just continue with that.
Okay.
So.
Your next event here is just right down the highway in Akron. Now, when you ever go to these events, like maybe this one because it's a little more local, do you ever see people, like other friends that went to high school that continued on in college that are also doing track and field events, or like people that you recognize from other high schools?
I do. Some of them, like I know I have a couple of teammates who are running in college, and I've run into a couple of them, not many yet. I'm hoping later on, once we have a couple more meets, that I'll see them. I definitely did see quite a few people at cross-country meets.
Okay.
That I saw just because we had like all Ohio, and that had all of the cross-country teams in Ohio competing there. But it is cool and nice to be able to say, oh, like, I recognize them, that's a familiar face.
Yeah.
Like, and a couple of them, one girl in particular, I ran against in our conference, and it was really cool to be able to see her during cross country and say, oh, good luck, like, hope your season goes well, and whatnot, so.
Yeah, I see even on the actual roster for the team, I mean, everybody's pretty much right from this area. I mean, did you have teammates that you knew coming into Cleveland State already?
I actually did not.
Wow.
Surprisingly. I think most people, I was more on the east side, the west side, and most of my teammates were on the east side. And so I didn't know too many of them, like racing against them, I would say, but once like postseason came, and I knew that I was going to Cleveland State, and I knew who my teammates were going to be, I did see a couple of them. Like I saw Sam Meyer at the state track meet my senior year, so that was nice to be able to say, oh, and because I raced against her in the 4x8 and 4x4, so it was cool to be able to see her and race against her for once, but not too many of them. I think also the different divisions made it difficult, because a couple of my teammates were Division 2 and at Rocky River we're Division 1, so it doesn't always
a little bit
match,
different,
but
I know you were only with Coach Joe, the cross-country coach, for one short season, but his legacy he has here with Cleveland State as the cross-country coach for 13 seasons and then 40 years just being on Cleveland State campus. How has he helped mold you into the athlete you are today?
He really has made a big difference, a big impact on me. I myself, and I know the rest of the team, is definitely going to miss him a lot. He made running my first season so much fun, and for me, I was a little bit worried about the transition into college and how I was going to balance everything with running and academics, but he made it so easy to be able to come in, enjoy running. It wasn't too stressful of an environment, which I know for me was good, because sometimes when I get very stressed, I don't handle it too well. I'll usually end up getting sick and whatnot. So I was very glad that he was able to make it fun, and he was able to push us and have us do as well as we did, and just making it such a great experience for us. And like I said, everyone is going to miss him. Like, it's going to be weird next year not knowing that he's not going to be the coach, but was very lucky to have him for at least one season. I'm very glad about that.
When we talked to you last semester, when you were in cross country, you're talking about how the recruiting process to coming to Cleveland State was so like welcoming. Have you started help with any of the recruiting yet for future athletes here?
A little bit. I did host one recruit last semester. I believe we start more of the recruits having overnights and whatnot this coming semester, just because more people are wanting to come do an overnight or do visits and whatnot. So I did host one recruit, and that was very fun, getting to know her. And I think eventually, hopefully, we do have a couple more recruits coming, so we'll be able to meet with them later this week. So I'm very excited to meet them and get to meet them. But hopefully, we'll see what happens with all the recruiting process. I think the track coaches are doing their best to
Trying to get some good athletes in it.
As far as academically speaking, how's the first semester for you transitioning into college? Like you're talking, I think you said you're a pre-physical therapy major.
Surprisingly, I think the first semester went really well for me.
That's awesome.
I was very pleased with that. My semester was fairly light, not really, really light, but the classes that I took didn't require a lot of outside time, I would say. Like, I didn't have a science course that required me to do a lab and do all the lab reports and whatnot. So I think first transition that semester was very, very nice. And like I said, Joe made it very easy to, this is when practice is, and since we would practice so early in the morning, it was before any classes, and so all we had to do was try to push our classes till like 10 and up, 10 and later. So that made scheduling very, very easy.
Yeah.
No worries there. But in terms of trying to get all the homework done, I'd say it was really nice having the afternoons, not to have to worry about going to practice and having that time to really be able to get your work done. I know this semester I'm taking more classes and it's a little bit harder, but spending a lot of time doing studies and dedicating that time to it just helps make it manageable and staying organized. Yes. I have a calendar and I put everything in it. If I don't, then I'm always worried that, oh no, did I forget to do something or whatnot. So staying organized for me has helped a lot as well.
Are there any meets on the calendar that you're looking forward to in particular, like to travel to any particular place or any invitational that's really like standing out to you right now?
Not yet. I would say that next season I might be able to say, oh, I really like that meet, like I'm excited to go there.
Yeah.
But not yet. I haven't really gotten too much exposure, I would say, to knowing what meet it is and who's going to be there. And because with indoor too, the schedules will sometimes change, so you don't know what races will actually be competing and racing in the meet. It all depends on the meet. So.
Yeah. After the conclusion of your cross country season, just kind of the same question, like that you have like your favorite courses now to run. So next season you'll be like, oh, I did really well here, or get some pointers to some of the incoming freshmen, you think?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, there were a couple courses that I was like, oh, I really like this one. A couple others I was like, oh, it was fun, but there were some others that I liked more. But
all right, Anna, I think that's all we had for you today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And I'm sure we'll be
talking
to you again as well. We'll be following along the season, just like the cross country one. So good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.